Hello everyone, you welcome to this news hour on Equinoxe television. We are broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Pablo Jonathan. Several parts of the crisis-stricken north and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon are without social amenities after the existing ones were burnt down in the course of the violence that's been sweeping across Anglophone Cameroon for close to 6 years now. Mbonge in the Meme Division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon is one of those localities where its structures that were burnt down are yet to be replaced. However, life is gradually returning to normalcy. In the meantime, electric energy supply remains an uphill task, a very difficult task, and even impossible in several parts of those two regions as a result of insecurity. In the meantime, the electricity sector is incurring a loss of tens of millions of francs yearly in fraud across the country yearly. We'll talk about this in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. We'll also talk about health with over 2,800 cases of breast cancer yearly. And health experts say that 80% of that number of breast cancer are diagnosed late because of lack of knowledge. Stay with us. We begin this newscast in Mbonge in Meme Division, southwest region, where it is gradually returning to normalcy. The situation remains quite unstable, and the locality, just like many other parts of the two English-speaking regions of the Republic of Cameroon, are still without some social amenities, burnt down in the course of violence, gun battles between separatists or armed civilians and elements of the national armed forces. Smanjik and Gabriel has more.
A beach filled with canoes that we met as we arrived in Mbonge subdivision in Meme division of the southwest region. The beach that was empty some months back as a result of the ongoing crisis is steadily gaining steam, with business going on between Cameroonians and Nigerians. The situation is gradually coming back to normalcy as a result of the security around the place. Since the place is guarded by the army, we are living together with the population without any fear. The mission of the marine here is to control the water and secure properties of people coming in and those going out. Due to the bad roads linking Kumba to Mbonge subdivision, water is the main access way into the subdivision. If the beach is gradually gaining steam, the population of Mbonge subdivision are still without a modern structure to call their hospital, since their only health center was burnt by unknown gunmen. It has been a nightmare for them transporting patients from the subdivision to the main town in Kumba. They are calling on government to help in the construction of another health center.
And within the framework of efforts to restore peace and normalcy in Anglophone Cameroon, sons and daughters of the Indian division in the southwest region are converging in the locality in view of stepping up efforts towards the return to normalcy and peace in that part of the southwest and also across the board. And of course, they are meeting to discuss strategies on how to turn down violence, on how to stop the cessationist activities, on how to change mindset in view of enhancing the return to peace and normalcy and quickening the process. And we'll be coming back to that Republic very Chato in the course of this newscast. Time for us to talk about electric energy supply in the two regions, which remains quite difficult today and even impossible in several parts of the region because of insecurity. We have details in this report compiled by Malak Glory.
Insecurity has been a serious obstacle to electric energy supply in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon for close to 6 years. Electric energy distribution is today an uphill task and even near impossible in some areas qualified as red zones.
The main challenge is to deal with insecurity. 70% of our population are running into what so-called red zone. Those are facing vandalism from Amber who cut with axle our pillars each time. That's not good because when they do so, the population can remain 2, 3, even say 1 year without having a normal correct supply of electricity that they're supposed to have.
We have 50% of our area that is not so safe. Also, our line passing through there, we have a lot of constraint in terms of access because our line does not mainly pass through the main road. Some of them passes through the bush. I can cite you exactly that line going to Boya. You know where it passes through? Passes through my 4 and then passes through Wututu. Passes through that area toilet before arriving there, so people cannot go there in the night because of security.
The replacement and or maintenance of damaged installations has become a very risky job, especially away from urban centers.
It's a really difficult, let's just say, task actually, because sometimes you arrive when the army are in battle with the what you call Amber, and you have to, let's just say, hide, or you have to put yourself in security, waiting for the battle to finish and perform your job.
Out of the 7 days of the week, okay, there are times we cannot intervene. We cannot intervene in the night, like our fellow colleagues in Douala. If there's no light in Douala in the night, people can wake up and go. Over there, that's one of the constraints. So if you are in your home, if you are in the house and you don't have light in the night in the southwest, hardly, I will tell you 90% that you wait until the next day, because all the maneuvers that the team or the work that need to be done is mainly on the bush.
Several localities in the northwest and southwest regions have never had electric energy supply. The distribution network has not been extended to those areas.
If there was the crisis were not actually going on, those localities will maybe with the help of the government construct new lines, supply electricity to them. But actually, with the ongoing situation, they cannot. Those construction cannot be performed, and they will have to wait.
The generation, transportation, and distribution stakeholders are urging the population to know that energy supply assets are properties of the state and thus help in preserving installations for the benefit of the nation and her people.
And speaking to reporters of the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association Douala chapter of Kama Surge, and notably that was during a visit to the head office of the electricity distribution company Enu here in Douala within the context of the upcoming World Press Freedom Day. The Southwest and Mungo director of the electricity distribution company Henringi explained what caused the power shortage that Kumba suffered for a certain period of time, and of course what is going on now in Boya Southwest region. Take a listen to him.
There's a lot of vandalism on those lines, and the major one was the line that supplies Kumba town. That is the line issued from Loom, passing through Tombel to Kumba. The line was vandalized, and that was 4 years back. So 1 year after the vandalization, our team went there after having communication with the local authority and the population. We made the first attempt to rehabilitate the line, but we could not succeed because some days after, and the poles, the cables, the line was completely destroyed. 1 year later again, the top management gave another budget. We went back again. We did the same thing. We failed again. I mean, when I say we failed, the dust poles and cables and everything was kept broken. Cable stolen. We finally succeeded for the third trial at the during the preparation of the AFCON. But so today, the land has been rehabilitated and Kumba is supplied by his main line. Where the past 4 weeks it has been having problems. That is due to the national grid. 90% of those problems are due to the national grid. That is transportation, that is transmission lines being saturated, and generation having a problem that is for less capacity to produce. So right now I have a load scheduled program, okay, to handle that situation. That is, we have to off the light one part of Linde to maintain the whole network being energized, and then we do that for 4 hours and we change again.
And the electricity sector is recording a loss of tens of millions of francs CFA to fraud that seems to be increasing, illegal connections that seems to be increasing in the neighborhoods, in the major cities, and even in the rural areas. And of course, added to this, there are some issues that the consumers do not understand. Variations, fluctuations in the bills that are changing from one month to the other. We want to understand all of this. Take a listen.
Estimate that to about 60 billion CFA francs that is lost every year to fraud, and it's the whole sector. It's the whole sector that is losing. It's not only ADO. When I say the whole sector, including the customers themselves, because what happens is the regular, the legal, the normal customers pay for the fraudsters, and it should be a national concern.
When you look at fluctuations in billing, what happens? Those who are still using postpaid, when people go to the field and read, they can get human error. They go and read at a particular date. If they read on the 20th and the next month they come and read on the same 20th, practically it's a month. But if the month after they come and read maybe on the 30th, it will be 30 days plus additional 10 days can make it vary. When you need the same volume of energy consumed, the volume is okay, but the period can vary. That's why you see fluctuations. They don't come at the exact time. Another point is, people at times, they go maybe on vacation and they block our meters. The rules of service, what they call recommended service, gives us that possibility to do blind billing, blind bills. They estimate, they look at your past consumptions and they look at your historical consumptions and they deduce your average consumption and they do an estimation. And if you don't have access to the readings, consumption is the appliances you connect to our network, multiply the time those appliances are connected. The first thing is you have your appliances rated to a certain power. To have energy, you switch them on for a certain time. So it's the power time, the time that gives the energy. When you go for low price appliances, they have very high power. That's why those appliances are sent from the other countries to Cameroon. Like they don't speak most of the times. So we go and pick them at very low prices and they tend to consume and we pay very, very high bills and think that our maintenance are expected when it's not the case. So the choice of our appliances. That's why we advise everybody, when you want to get an appliance, get a technician, get a qualified technician and say, please, I want the best that will not consume it. The first thing, they start from the power. Don't look at how beautiful your appliance is. Check the power and see how that appliance will cost you every month before you buy.
And I told you earlier that sons and daughters of the Indian division are converging back home to discuss strategies on how to step up efforts to restore peace and normalcy in that part of the southwest region and the rest of Anglophone Cameroon. They are meeting at a time when the situation remains unstable in those two regions, and it has been so for close to 6 years today. Derek Chato has more from the southwest region.
Current economic sanction is known to have caused a shortage in the supply and hike in the prices of petroleum products globally, especially countries in the Gulf of Guinea, who depended on supply from Russia in war with Ukraine. For some days now, some Cameroonians say they have been experiencing shortage of petroleum products at filling stations in the north and east regions. Edmond Kwate, an economist, affirms it is a global problem that could be chronic in Cameroon because of the fire incident that ravaged a section of the Sonarwa refinery.
Le Cameroun a perdu l'unique, n'est-ce pas, outil qui lui permettait localement de pouvoir affiner au moins une partie du carburant, ne serait-ce qu'au moins à 40%.
If Cameroon is affected, the economist says the blame will be on the government that focused more on importation, whereas it has resources and production capacity.
Mais il faut comprendre que le Cameroun a une très faible capacité de production de pétrole. Je crois que ça tourne autour de 150 000 barils par jour.
Edmond Kwate thinks if the government is not strategic in controlling the shortage situation, voice of hike in prices of petroleum products, Cameroon will welcome a replica of the 2008 chaotic demonstration.
Si le gouvernement lâche la
government, he advises, must not let go of subvention.
À la situation de 2008, c'est-à-dire que le prix va flamber à la pompe.
End of the Russia-Ukraine war, the economist adds, will stabilize prices and supply of petroleum products globally.
Si la guerre continue,
its continuation will only help some matters in the coming days.
Le pire dans les prochains jours.
To avoid chaos, Cameroon must not only rely on subvention as it has always been doing.
Et donc la solution,
according to Edmond, the solution is for governments to ensure the full operation of Sonarwa and the Cameroon Petroleum Depots (SCDP) in Limbe and Douala respectively, that will enable the country refine its own petroleum products and stabilize prices.
Et pouvoir stabiliser le prix, n'est-ce pas, à la pompe.
Meantime, in a communique signed by the Minister of Water and Energy Resources, Gaston Elundu Esomba, on April 20th, Cameroonians have been reassured of government's taken action to ensure steady supply of petroleum products across the national territory.
As a reporting there on the drop in supply of petroleum products in the Republic of Cameroon resulting from the war in Ukraine. Out of the 2,800 cases of breast cancer registered yearly in Cameroon, 80% of them is diagnosed at an advanced stage, and health experts blame this on lack of knowledge. And in order to tackle the high prevalence rate of breast cancer in the Republic of Cameroon, oncologists are now implementing the use of liquid biopsies, which is much more cheaper and convenient for diagnosis. Immaculate Fokwe has more.
Late diagnosis, poverty, lack of awareness and skilled personnel are some of the challenges affecting the eradication of breast cancer in Cameroon. More than 4,000 cases and 2,000 related deaths have been registered in the country. 80% of the cases registered were diagnosed at an advanced stage, with chemotherapy and palliative care representing the primary care options. Due to its high cost, are deterred from seeking healthcare services. In order to ease routine monitoring of tumor evolution and heterogeneity, a workshop is being organized in the city of Douala, which focuses on how to implement the liquid biopsies in Cameroon.
Biopsies are simply body fluids. It can be blood, it can be serum, it can be urine, it can be cerebrospinal fluid, any body fluid that is likely to contain tumor-derived material. Those are called liquid biopsies. What this means is that instead of going invasively into the patient, because most tumors are not on the skin, they are within the body. So this means that if you have to rely only on tissue biopsies, each time you will have to go into the patient by surgery or using a needle to get a sample, which is not always feasible, because if the patient is really feeling bad, you cannot always go in there.
The advent of the liquid biopsies is offering promising and cheaper alternatives for routine procedures, thus a crucial milestone for modern oncology.
And this will facilitate diagnosis, because you don't also need specialized trained persons to be able to collect a blood sample. A nurse can collect a blood sample. Anybody, any one of us here can collect sputum or urine. But if you need to go into a biopsy for a surgery, you need a surgeon, which is not the case with liquid biopsies. And therefore, it is not only cheap, it's feasible, and you can use it to monitor the patient. So when the patient is getting treatment, you can actually monitor the patient to see if the patient responds without necessarily needing the intervention of a skilled physician to get a biopsy or a tumor sample.
The German Cameroon Liquid Biopsy Workshop will go a long way in constituting a tremendous advancement in treatment.
And that's it for this weekend edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
7 conseils pour se protéger contre le nouveau coronavirus. 1. Lavez-vous régulièrement les mains à l'eau et au savon ou à l'aide d'un gel hydroalcoolique. 2. Vous ressentez l'envie de tousser ou d'éternuer? Faites-le dans un mouchoir ou dans le creux de votre coude, puis lavez-vous les mains. 3. Restez à au moins 1 mètre de distance des autres personnes, surtout si elles toussent, éternuent ou ont de la fièvre. 4. Évitez de vous toucher les yeux, le nez et la bouche. 5. Évitez tout contact direct avec des animaux vivants. Et si cela est impossible, veillez à vous laver les mains après le contact. 6. Ne mangez pas de produits animaux crus ou mal cuits et lavez-vous les mains. Nettoyez les surfaces et les ustensiles après usage. 7. Si vous avez de la fièvre, de la toux ou des difficultés à respirer, consultez un médecin.
If you suspect you may have a coronavirus infection, please call your healthcare provider in advance and let them know you are coming. This can help them be prepared. WHO recommends preventive measures to reduce your risk. Wash your hands frequently using soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Avoid eating raw meat and unnecessary